Welcome back to the True Geordie YouTube channel. Last week, it was Conor McGregor. Just said, well, hopefully we don't have to do any more videos like this. Well, now it's Jay-Z's turn. And I like his records, so this is a bit of a shame, innit? Do you know what I mean? 99 problems. Obviously, he's got one more than that now. 100. That would make 100, yeah. And you remember that conversation that people used to have about, would you do 500 grand cash or dinner with Jay-Z? Because Jay-Z, I mean, he's going to enlighten you. He's going to broaden your horizons. He's got all the connections to take you further than 500 grand cash. I always said I'd take the money. And I definitely stand by that now. Because I'm not saying he's guilty, but he does have a lot of dodgy friends. Do you know what I mean? And now this, I'm just like, yeah, I'll take the money. I'll take the money. Thank you. Jay-Z's been accused of some bad shit, right? And it's by a girl who at the time was 13 years old, which heightens this whole thing, right? And there has been rumours for years. We've seen them on Twitter. We've all seen them. But nothing concrete, right? No one's put pen to paper. Well, this girl has put pen to paper. And this was alleged a while back, but I think she's since revealed Jay-Z's name after reaching out for some sort of mediation, which was declined. I'm confused by that. But let's get into the accusations now. So on September 7th, 2000, the girl in question was then 13 years old. She had a friend drive and drop her off near Radio City Music Hall in New York City so she could try and attend the VMA Awards. This was on her bucket list, apparently, as she believed she could gain entry. So to cut a long story short, she was struggling to get into the VMAs and she decided to approach the limousine drivers outside to see if she could either get away in or get away into an after party. More confident than I was at 13 years old, by the way. And apparently one of the limousine drivers she spoke to claimed to work for P. Diddy and told her that Diddy liked younger girls and that she fit what Diddy was looking for. Gross, innit? So the driver basically says, I'll take you to P. Diddy's after party. You wait here. I'm going to take Diddy and everyone to the after party. Then I'll come back and get you and I'll drop you off at the after party. It's just mental. Like, even if this is fabricated, just this story is wild. Like, we're just picking random people up off the street. Like, I guess this was in the 2000s, remember, as well. So it wasn't in the era of the social media. Everyone's recording everything and there's documentation of everything. People were probably taking a lot more chances back then. So we kind of have to remember this when we're reading this, that this was a different time where people, especially Diddy, took a lot more risks. So he then takes her to a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway. So it sort of fits the bill of what you'd expect, a huge mansion, basically. Once inside, two men asked the girl to sign a document which she didn't read, but she now believes was probably an NDA. And she was basically told, you can't discuss what happens at this party. She gave them the name and signed the form, and she didn't receive a copy. So apparently when she got into the building, she recognized many celebrities as she entered the living room or the foyer containing a large crowd. And she attempted to mingle in the crowd and talk to several of those celebrities that she recognized who she'd actually wanted to see at the VMAs. Now, first I'm thinking, at 13, I could never have just walked in there and just ingratiated myself into a crowd like that. I was a little spotty teenager. It was antisocial. Still am a little bit. With the girl at her age, even if she had have done the hair and makeup to make herself look older and dressed a certain way, how much older could she look? Like, was this just accepted at Diddy's parties that you would just see really young girls there and when people just like, yeah, this is what he's like? Who the fuck knows? The way she's telling the story, it's as if she just walked in and made herself at home and there was just no questions asked, no like, what the fuck's this doing here? Like, what's going on? It doesn't sound like there was a reaction at all. It sounded like everything was fine. Which, if true, is in itself weird because, like, what the fuck's a random 13-year-old doing at an adult party like this? Like, no one asks any fucking questions. Like, apparently there were people there doing a lot of drugs. Shock. It's a Diddy party. I think that was something that we were expecting to hear. And there were servers handing out drinks. Apparently, she was handed a drink that was a reddish yellow mixture, tasted like orange and cranberry and something bitter. After drinking the first portion of the drink, the plaintiff began to feel woozy and lightheaded, making her need to lie down. Here's a photograph of an exemplary container used by Combs and his agents to insert GHB into alcoholic drinks as seen below. Now, GHB, I actually have a little bit of knowledge on, not because I've ever tried it, thank fuck, but it was a popular drug back in the bodybuilding era in the 90s. My dad actually tried it once, at least once. He tried a lot of things. Basically, it would have helped you knock you out in order to give you better recovery in sleeping deeper and longer, and it would just knock you out. But what you could do if you did drink it and try to stay awake is you would just be off the map, basically. And this was something that Diddy definitely apparently, from all the accusations, seemed to use a lot of in spiking people's drinks. So apparently she's not feeling great at this point. She's looking for a place to rest. She looks down a hallway with several rooms, and she entered what appeared to be an empty bedroom. She didn't lock the door. She just went to lie down for a moment. The rooms contained only a large bed with not much other furniture. And soon after lying down, Sean P. Diddy Combs entered the room along with the other defendant, Carter, as he's named here, Jay-Z, and a female celebrity who has been named Celebrity B in this court form here. And the plaintiff apparently immediately, the girl, recognized all of the celebrities. So P. Diddy apparently approached her with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her and said, "You are ready to party." He then threw her towards a wall, causing her to fall. She then got up and stumbled, at which point he grabbed her and threw her on the bed. At that point, Jay-Z apparently began removing her clothes as she grew more and more disoriented. The fact that she's just lying there in this empty bedroom and these three massive celebrities come in and immediately just start attacking at her like this. It's such a wild story. Like, I'm not saying that means it's not true, but it's very, what's the word here? I think wild is the right word to describe it, actually, because I don't want to say flat out, this never happened, this isn't true or anything. But for my brain to imagine, like, a 13-year-old has just gone to a party like this, had a drink, socialized with all these celebrities, entered an empty room, and then three of the biggest celebrities in the world have just come in there and started attacking you without even knowing you. It's wild. Now, apparently at that point, she was held down by Jay-Z as he vaginally assaulted her. I'll not use the R word because of the way YouTube works, but you know what I'm talking about there. And apparently P. Diddy and Celebrity B watched. After Jay-Z finished, he stepped back towards the wall, and then P. Diddy then stepped forward, and he then vaginally also assaulted her while Jay-Z and Celebrity B watched. Apparently, P. Diddy then knocked her down and attempted to force her to perform oral on him. She fought back, standing up quickly, punching out at the same time, hitting him in the neck. Taken aback, Combs stopped the attempt. As Combs backed away, she then grabbed her clothes and shoes and ran out of the room, holding her dress in front of her like a towel. She ran around the residence until she found the front door and was able to leave the party. Although there were other guests still at the party, no one appeared to take notice of her distress or attempt to help her. Once outside, she put her clothes back on, left the scene in the dark. She attempted to retrace the route taken by the limo driver. She kept running until she reached the gas station she noticed on the way to the party. A female clerk noticed her distress and attempted to allowed her to use the phone. She called her father, admitted she'd lied about her whereabouts, and asked him to pick her up. He arrived to pick her up shortly before dawn. So there's a lot going on here, isn't there? I mean, are you lot finding this a likely story? Let me know in the comments, because wild is the only word I can find to describe it, because I don't want to discount anything, but at the same time, she's a 13-year-old. She's gone into this like house so easily. She's then had these massive megastar celebrities attack her like this. She's then fought one off and made it easily out and escaped no problem without any real fight to do so. You'd have thought maybe there would have, people who are dark like this, who do horrible shit like this, would try and restrict her exit or, make it harder for her to run away and tell her story after that. Who knows, right? I've never been in this scenario, but you just assume that people who would be capable of such evil would also be calculated about it as to make sure they didn't get caught. We know P. Diddy was a calculated person. He recorded other people having sex so he could blackmail them. He was a brute. He would bully people. He would manipulate people so they never felt they could escape his control. And then for him to just relinquish control of someone he's just assaulted like this with such ease, does that play into who he was? I don't know. Maybe this is a one-off occasion where P. Diddy was more reckless than he'd been in other circumstances. It's impossible to say. They have gone into how much she says she's suffered after the fact, which obviously this is a civil case, much like the Conor McGregor one. So we're not talking about anyone going to jail here. This is where we're appealing for our damages, if we're the victim, to be paid for because of what we have suffered as a result of the attack. So she's explaining, the deep depression that she fell into afterwards, post-traumatic stress disorder, etc., here in the case. Now it's time for Jay-Z's reply, which came out at light speed, right? I think I'd seen this before I even seen the fucking allegations. I've seen Jay-Z be dissed by rappers for decades and not even subliminally acknowledge them. He must have had this either saved in his drafts from the second Diddy's house got raided or something, because this came out the quickest I've ever seen anyone respond to anything like this. Apparently, he wrote this like on his notes on his iPhone. Like, this is his words. It's not like a lawyer or anything like that. This is his words. And now, a word from our sponsors. If you're online, you need a VPN. And not only do you need one, you need the best one. And that is Surfshark. Now, if you don't know, using a VPN online is like getting dressed before you step outside. Because it's so important that the stuff that you want to stay private stays private. And with Surfshark, all of your online activity is encrypted out of the way of prying eyes, both from hackers and your missus. Because I know some of you lot like certain kinds of websites that they might not approve of, lads. Who am I kidding? You lot haven't got girlfriends, you bloody incels. And that's not the only benefit, because obviously here in the UK, we can't actually watch the 3 p.m. football. But I've been told that if you're in Spain or America, for example, with a VPN, you can. Because with Surfshark, you can just change your location with one click. And obviously, you would never do this in the UK. You would just never, you wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? None of us would. And look, it doesn't just apply to sport. You can obviously watch the US Netflix, Hulu, and plenty other content from around the world. And another benefit is that we all tend to use public Wi-Fi's at one point or another, and you have no idea what they're doing with your data. But with Surfshark on your phone, all of your data is encrypted safely. And Surfshark One is the best service that they offer, which gives you all of the usual protection plus an alternative ID. And that allows you to set up a fake email and a fake name. So if there's ever a data leak and you want to avoid all of those spam emails, you're completely protected. If you want to get the mega deal that they've got on before Christmas, click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen now. Go to surfshark.com/Geordie for 4 extra months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. And they even give you a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk in trying it out. So big love to the best VPN out there in Surfshark, but for now, enjoy the video. My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations, and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever could commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? Powerful start. And in terms of why not a criminal complaint, I am not sure what the legalities are in America. You'd have to let me know in the comments if any of you do know. But I know that there is something such as statute of limitations over there, which gives you a time frame after a crime is committed in which you're able to make that complaint. However, I've seen some people online speculating that in these kind of accusations, the rules are different. I don't know is the honest answer there, but Jay-Z is being very bullish in his response to start off with. These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case, says Jay-Z. This lawyer, who I have done a little bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. I have no idea how you've come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby. Jay-Z's using like big English words now, isn't he? This ain't no reasonable doubt, Jay-Z. This ain't from the start. This is after the Black Album, right? He's got an education. He's a businessman. He's putting it on this lawyer big time here. But I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I think we can agree. Jay-Z, he's been around and he knows if this guy is a dirty lawyer, Jay-Z will be familiar with them. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family, my wife, and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try and understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. My heart and support goes out to the true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. He is going after this geezer. Interestingly, I'm reading it so far. I've not actually heard Jay-Z once so far say, I did not do this. I'm just skimming back through. He says these allegations are heinous in nature, yada, yada, yada. and he's calling the lawyer a bullshitter, but he just hasn't said those words outright. Do you know what I mean? And again, I don't know if that's calculated or if there's a reason for that, or if it's just him in the heat of the moment, just lashing out on his mobile phone. I'm not saying that this means he's guilty, but it's interesting to fucking see that. Let's see if he says it in the last bit here. You have made a terrible error in judgment in thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of... Young? Sorry, what? Come on, Jay. If you're gonna have to get your facts right here. 55 years old? You're not young. I guess what he's meaning is at the time, he was young when he made it out. Who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these type of games. We have very strict code and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the idiotic claims that you have levied against me, that if not for the serious surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. It was a very bullish reply and very much aggressive and accusatory in the opposite direction, but it didn't really say like, by the way, I wasn't even there that night, none of this even happened, da-da-da-da-da-da. That would have been a great starting point. I would have liked to have seen a bit more of that. People might say, look, he's going to get his day in court, he'll do all of that there and then. All right, fair enough, but this could have been better. If we're being honest. Then some of you let me know in the comments, is the fact that he hasn't explicitly said, you know, I'm innocent for this, that, and the other reason, enough to make you wonder? I don't know. Interestingly, the lawyer has actually responded with a tweet here. Mr. Busby has said, regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my clients, Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed his frivolous case under a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is that my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he's tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. His conduct had the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I'm very proud of her resolve. As for the allegations in the complaint filed, we will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate the facts in court, not in the media. Interesting. So there's been a previous outreach from their side to, you know, have some sort of conversation with Jay-Z, which he flat out denied, because then you're sort of acknowledging that, well, this might have happened, or there was some sort of incident, and Jay-Z, innocent or guilty, would have not wanted to go there, I would imagine. And look, the fact that this happened 24 years ago, and it's a very in detail story, but it is literally her word against his, from what I can understand. I can't imagine there's any hard evidence after 24 years in the way that we have with the Conor McGregor case, where we had scientific evidence, we had CCTV, we had eyewitnesses. There was all sorts in that case from both sides of people, you know, having doctors stand up and say, I seen this, I seen that. I can't imagine it's any more than just her words. So that is going to make it very, very difficult, especially with the level of lawyers Jay-Z can afford, to prove anything. From memory, I don't even know if they know which house it was and if there was any CCTV or anything, and I would imagine that 24 years later it's not there. And look, whether or not this case goes anywhere, what it does do is it puts a massive spotlight now on Jay-Z, and there's been rumours, as I said earlier, for a long time, but now if there are, you know, any people sat at home thinking he did this to me, he did that to me, they're much more likely to come forward at this point, and we will find out, you know, what skeletons really are in the closet of Jay-Z. And one of the things that would, you know, from the outside looking in, make you think, I wouldn't be surprised if some stuff comes out, is who his friends were. This guy was very close friends with P. Diddy. He was also very good friends with R. Kelly. This man did an entire album with R. Kelly called The Best of Both Worlds. They were like that, man. They made fucking loads of music together. And right, I'm not saying just because he made music with him, it means he was doing shit. But you're not the best person in picking friends, are you, pal? There was also this clip about Jay-Z in an R. Kelly documentary, I think.
I think it's time for us to address the elephant in the room.
R. Kelly was the first corporately sponsored pedophile. Everybody knew.
Once the came out on R. Kelly, Jay-Z fled the scene.
The point was, he knew all the time.
For 20 years, Jay-Z refused to speak out against R. Kelly, but his former partner, Dame Dash, won't stay silent.
Aaliyah is key to everything. Aaliyah and I were very serious. We talked about getting married, so I know exactly what went on.
She just be like, no, that's a bad man. R. Kelly did indeed marry his protege, the 15-year-old singer Aaliyah Houghton.
Like Aaliyah was like the sacrificial lamb for all that.
22-year-old rising star Aaliyah has been killed in a horrific plane crash.
It's a pain that you couldn't understand.
It changed you, turned you into a monster.
When Dame was at his lowest, Jay committed the ultimate betrayal.
I had so much trust in my brother, but he did things that I thought he would never do. So what you think I felt all these years?
For 20 years, R. Kelly's power protected him.
At that time, we did not look hard enough.
Remember Aaliyah's album cover?
Age ain't nothing but a number. Sitting back there like Perv Master.
I mean, I wasn't there. You know, I ain't have nothing to do with that.
They made a song together called Not Guilty. Anybody that knows what happened to my girl that with me should not be with homie. Period.
So you get the point, right? They're saying he knew what R. Kelly was up to and he stayed silent. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but it fucking looks bad considering that guy knew Jay-Z for a long time. Dame Dash was business partners with him and he's fucking throwing the book at him there. 50 Cent has had his say and he's had a long running rivalry with Jay-Z and he never misses an opportunity, man. And he's posted this meme of him from the movie where he drives off laughing and he says, okay, I don't know what's going on, but are we going to still have the Super Bowl? I'm asking for a friend. For those who don't know, Jay-Z is the big boss of the Super Bowl in deciding who is the halftime show. And he has a lot of power. And now that he's had these kind of allegations against him, I'm not saying people are going to pull everything immediately because he is innocent until proven guilty. But it would be interesting to see how this pans out for him. If anyone does say, you know what, while this is happening, you should move away from this product. You should move away from this role. It could be massively detrimental to his career now. And that's before we even consider other people coming forward. If that starts happening, well, then it really doesn't look good. So let me know where you're at with this currently in the comments below, given what we've been told so far from both sides. You know, is her story compelling to you? Was the denial from Jay-Z strong enough for you? Let me know what you think, and I really appreciate all of the support for this channel. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit the like button. I'll keep coming back with more content if you stay subscribed to the True Geordie YouTube channel.